Hello and welcome to the Disable the Label podcast. I'm your host, Kerry, and on our podcast we'll be chatting about all things disability. Holidays, equipment, therapy, funding, you name it, and we'll talk about it. We want to empower and support parents of disabled children across the UK whilst they navigate their child's life. So, what are we waiting for? Let's get into it. This podcast is sponsored by Tree of Hope. Tree of Hope Children's Charity helps children and young people with disability or illnesses by supporting their families to raise the funds that are needed to pay for specialist care and treatment, therapies and even equipment across the UK that might not be readily available to them otherwise. If you want to find out more about Tree of Hope, check them out on our app, Disable the Label. On today's podcast, we're joined by Caron from Bealies Adaptive Clothing. She comes to chat about everything to do with what she's creating in adaptive clothing wear. Right, let's get into it. Hello and welcome to the podcast. Today we have Caron. Caron, welcome.
Hi.
Everybody knows that usually I let everybody else introduce themselves. So Caron, why don't you introduce yourself properly and let everybody know where you are from?
Yeah. All right. More than just hi. Hi. It's my name's Caron McCluckey and the director of Bealies Adaptive Wear. And so we design and sell adaptive joggers and soon to be hoodies and jeans for wheelchair users.
Cool, perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I'm excited to chat more about what you do, how you got started, and everything. And it'll be really great for everybody else to learn more about you. So, what made you want to create the brand itself?
This came because my son is a wheelchair user. So my son had a spinal cord stroke in 2016, very suddenly. And as we were sort of like cracking on with our lives, we've just found that clothes just don't fit properly. So every time he was transferring in and out of his chair, his back was always exposed and his bum was always exposed and it was always cold. So we just kind of started looking around for sort of clothes for wheelchair users, really. And they were geared very much to older people and very health care orientated and not fashionable in any way. My son was only 13 when he had his stroke. So, you know, he wants to wear the clothes that his peers are wearing, especially joggers because they're easy to put on and they've always been easy for him to wear. So we just started looking around the market and also we noticed that joggers are not made with a fly opening zip, you know, like trousers. And so I thought, oh, I'll design my own. Simple as that, really. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So when did you launch your company product, your first products? When did those launch?
Yeah, so we launched officially in September 21 at the NADEX exhibition. So I was there 2 years prior to that, and there was a section on adaptive wear because I've been researching and can see there's an increase in demand for adaptive clothing. And then 2 years later, I was at NADEX launching our own product, which is the first. It was just the joggers at first. And so, yes, we've been going now about a year and a half, and we're just slowly adding products to them. So we're selling joggers and shorts at the moment.
Awesome, nice. So tell us a little bit more about the joggers that you started with, because you just said they were your first product.
Yeah. So like I said, the main issue we found was that, first of all, they don't cover you properly at the back while you're sitting in a wheelchair. And then secondly, we have to self-catheterize. So you need 2 available hands. And so if you're wearing joggers, there's no fly opening, so you need 3 hands, 1 to sort of pull your joggers down and 2 to use the catheter. And so that's why we came up with the idea of putting a fly front and then also to put the zip on a diagonal, so it means that you get more of an opening. So you've got your spare hands to do the catheterizing. So they're the first product. So the plan is, for the USP, is that top part, the high back and the zip, and then experiment with different materials. So yeah, the main product are the adaptive joggers in kind of two fits as well, because we also identified that you've got people born with a disability, so they'll
Mm-hmm.
have less muscle mass. People like my son who have become disabled will still have some muscle mass. So we've made two fittings of the joggers, a slim fit and like a regular fit. So it's, quite
Right.
fashionable still, but they're nice and slim if your legs are quite slim through lack of muscle.
Yeah. So how do you know exactly what's needed? Obviously, you have your experience from your son, but how did you end up finding out what else was needed to be maybe added or changed on the joggers?
Yeah. Well, a lot of it has just been ongoing research. So my son has autism anyway, so his school was a special needs school. So we, spoke to parents, we used to just stop parents going in and out of school, saying, what issues do you find getting your children dressed? So a lot of those ideas came from that. I did some a bit of research with the Manchester. I always get which one it is. University of Manchester. And so they were doing a project with the Stroke Association, and they'd also been just researching um, about people who've had a stroke and then returning back to work and what adaptations they might need to their clothes, like things like zips and buttons, whether we use
Mm-hmm.
magnets and Velcros instead. So they helped me to make the first prototype. And basically, it's just literally asking anybody I came across, as well as physios and OTs, that a meal comes across as well. So when we were at the hospital and asking questions about, how to get dressed, lying down, what kind of problems they found, supporting people while they were getting dressed. So everybody and anybody, basically, I stopped and asked the question.
Nice. It's always good to have like a broad range of opinions of various, because every
Yeah,
child is different. We both said that
yeah,
before. You've got children that are like really really long but really really skinny.
exactly.
And especially as you said, if they were born with a disability, the muscle mass usually is a little bit
Yeah,
less, or their
yeah.
body structure can sometimes be slightly different. So you started off with the joggers, and then what made you want to go into shorts to start with, and then obviously you've said you're kind of
Well,
just
I
starting on.
want Bealies adaptive wear to be a fashion brand like any other fashion brand. And so you need to have more than one product, I suppose. But I think what we've thought is once we've got the joggers right, then we can then try and start to add to it or adapt. So we
Yeah.
made joggers in different colours for the summer, for example. So we did some summer colours. And also, summer, you wear shorts. So jogger shorts are also quite fashionable. Emil wears them. And so we adapted the pattern because, again, it was just quite easy to just stop at the knee, basically.
Yeah.
And also, they're long enough past the knee because I think, again, some people who are wheelchair users don't really like to show their legs because their legs could be quite slim and skinny. So again, we've got a good short that comes to just past the knee. So, they're still nice and fashionable, fit that how you want them without showing too much of your leg if you're still conscious about what your leg looks like. And
Yeah.
also, not everybody wears joggers. I'm a lady of a certain age, I don't really wear joggers. However, they are very popular. But then when you want to go out, you want to wear something smart, don't you? And a
Yeah.
lot of men sort of my age in their 50s would be asking like, do you do jeans? Do you make jeans? Because we really miss being able to wear a nice pair of jeans when I go out. So that's what we're
Yeah.
looking at launching in the spring. So I've been just trialing different materials just to see if the pattern lends itself to denim or chino material, and it does. So we're just looking to source sort of good sustainable denim with a lighter stretch, and we
Yeah.
can get those out for this spring, hopefully.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, because I know a lot of, I suppose, girls more than boys, girls tend to like they want to be comfortable, and like leggings sometimes aren't long enough for the body. So, but like a jegging kind of jean is like perfect for even for girls as well, because I know it's really difficult to have like you have your your original idea, which was obviously from with your son, and then growing that and knowing what other people want and need, because obviously like with you said with the shorts, if it needs to come up further, then the shorts come up higher, and then they may not want to have their bare leg on the seat cushion of their wheelchair, so having it a little bit longer helps with so many different things. So that's absolutely amazing.
And I wasn't really kind of aware of that. It was just one of the models who'd put a post on Instagram, and he had some shorts on, and he was saying that he doesn't really like to show his legs, so they are really slim, but it's about him now being more accepting of himself, and that he will just wear them, and because it makes him feel, especially in the summer, you're just too warm in long trousers, and everybody else is in shorts, so why not? So I thought, let's have a go. And again, people are asking, do you make shorts? Of course.
Do you want me to? Yeah, okay, I'll go for it. So, and then you've said before that you were starting to go into hoodies as well. Yeah.
So as we speak, literally, as we're speaking, Jen is working away at adapting our pattern. So, I think we made some summer colours last year, pink, blue and lilac. We didn't really sell many, and I think it's because there was no option of the full tracksuit, because somebody said to me, yes, I did like them, but I didn't have anything to wear with them. So, and I thought, you always need to have something matching the joggers.
Yeah. So
again, we've been just sort of looking what's out there, what we kind of need. The issue my son has with his hoodies. So what we're doing is we're making a hoodie like an oversize, and we're making it easy to put on. So we're going to have the side open with a zip, and we're going to have a zip at the top, so it's easy to get over your head. Also, we've kind of found, again, talking to lots of people, are peg feeders and have like peg lines in. So a few people have been asking me about, if there's any way you could sort of utilise that in the hoodie. So having the zip at the top would mean that if you've got a port line, for example, it'll be easy to get on and get dressed. So, so hopefully, got a presentation on Wednesday. Hopefully by Wednesday I'll be able to have like a full sample with everything working on it. We've had 2 versions of it, and it looks better, the second version. So nice. So that's the next bit, the hoodies, and we'll make a hoodie and we'll do a sweatshirt, I think, because not everybody wears a hoodie and a sweatshirt, so it's the same pattern. So very exciting. They look good together.
Yeah, I think when it comes to hoodies, it's hoodies and sweatshirts is an interesting one, because you don't want it to be so big, so there's like really oversized and it looks like drowning on somebody. Yeah. But I know that a lot of the kids, or the older kids that I kind of have worked with, are now at that stage where the size really matters, and the shape and the ability to get their shoulders up and into the arms, having that space at the top as well, that really helps them. I know a lot of parents are like, it's a fight to get them in a jumper. So once their jumper's on, which is really hard as well, because we you get hot and cold throughout the day, but having to take something like that on and off makes things more difficult. And also, it means, I know a few of the kids said to me, but it's just such an effort, I'll just stay, it doesn't matter if I'm a bit too hot.
And I found as well that the head openings on the hoodies are really narrow. I don't know why. Again, I tried on one of my sons, and I could just about get it over my head. And, I've got, good grip or whatever. Not necessarily a big head, but they just seems to be really narrow. So we've made the neck area a bit wider, and then obviously because there's going to be a zip here, it will mean that you can get it over really easily. And obviously, if you don't have good grip, you can get into it through the side with a zip. And again, it adds a bit of a fashion feature. the zip isn't really visible once you're in it, you know. So yeah, so it's all good. So it looks good as well, and I think that's one of the things as well. It has to look
Yeah,
fashionable, and it
totally.
has to just look like a normal sweatshirt that has some
Yeah.
hidden features. And I think that's one of the things that works really well with the joggers, I think.
Yeah, I think that's always something that, especially as you know, the kids are getting older as well. I mean, I know it happens for younger kids, but sometimes as
Yeah,
parents, when you're in your child's little, it's like whatever just works. Like, let's
yeah,
just get them in
exactly.
something. Whereas, you know, then they're getting into teenagers and they don't want it. They want to be like you said before, like their
Yeah,
friends. Definitely, like the matching tracksuit is a total like in thing. I don't sound very like,
yeah, yeah,
you
no,
know.
it is, because that's what they're all wearing, and it's the colours, and as well, you know, bright reds, bright greens, yellows, pink. You know, I'm seeing guys walking around in bright pink sweatshirts and hoodies and whites. I'm thinking, God, try and keep that clean. I mean, it looks great. But everybody's wearing all sorts of colours, so and that's what I want to be able to do is just have that mix up of the colours and styles, and just see what's going on
Yeah,
in mainstream fashion and just replicate it so it's the same.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I love it that you want it to look still fashionable, because that can kind of be an issue when it comes to adaptive clothing. It's like, yeah, it's
exactly.
adaptive, but it like I can totally see it, so I don't really want to wear that. You know, and you know, people can, from the outside world, people can say, well, you know, if you need it to fit properly, you need it to fit properly. Yeah, but people do that anyway. Let's be honest. People are
Yeah,
just like, no, I'd rather wear it even if it doesn't fit me. It looks better like this, rather than that one, because you know.
yeah,
So I love it that you want it to make it and look fashionable as well. So your
yeah.
current products. Sorry, carry on.
No, I was just going to just say that my husband bought a pair of wheelchair trousers for me when he first became a wheelchair user, and his sister just refused to let him wear them because they were just
Yeah.
shapeless canvas trousers. It just had a high back, navy blue, and just meh. She goes, no, my mother's not wearing those. £45, again, not cheap. Straight to the
No.
charity shop. We didn't even get a leg in them. So, and that was the other thing as well. You know, no matter how old you are, you know, you still want to look nice. Just because you're in a chair doesn't mean to
Yeah.
say you shouldn't do.
Totally. Look
Yeah,
and feel nice. I think that's the thing. You know, they've got to really love how they're looking as well. You know.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so your current products are the joggers, shorts, and then soon to be hoodies and kind of jeggany jeans,
Yeah.
maybe chinos. That's exciting. Okay, so what's your best selling product then? And colour?
Well, it's the joggers, and everybody loves the grey. So the grey is really
Okay.
popular. So we sold out of the grey in all the sizes really. So we're just making some new ones now. And it was a bit kind of an accidental thing that when we made the grey, we put a black zip in because that's what all we had for the sample, and it looked really good, that black contrast with the mild grey. So we put like a black logo with it as well, and it looks really good because grey is very popular at the moment. So grey is
Yeah.
just blown off, and the same with the shorts when we did the grey shorts in the summer. So yeah, grey is the colour of the moment. It seems to be.
It
Yeah,
has been
yeah.
for a little while, I
It
think.
has.
Yeah, even
I
just
thought it'd be
in
easing off a
general.
bit, but no, it's still very, and because there's so many shades of grey as well, isn't there? So, I mean, we're just making the mild grey. But yeah, I mean, again, I might think about a darker grey possibly, but still keep
Yeah.
with the grey because it seems to be really popular.
Yeah, I was surprised. I just, for some reason, I assumed it would just be black because, like, I know some kids wear black to
Yeah,
school, so I thought, like, parents would be buying those in. But wow,
yeah.
great,
Yeah,
interesting,
because we made
love it.
more of the black and the navy, and we found that because I still like navy and the black, but it was the grey all the way, really. So I had to really push the navy and the black because the grey was just
Yeah,
flying off. So again, that's
yeah,
been the thing about making a small run. I can test the market and see what's popular and what not, what isn't popular. So we know grey is very popular, so we just make more of the grey and less of the other colours. But you know,
yeah,
still
yeah,
have it as an
totally.
option. But yeah,
So, quick question. The joggers, do they have anything on the leg, say, for example, if a child is wearing splints or anything like that?
Well, we've just made, again, we trialled repurposing some of the smaller sizes because, again, people were asking, like, do you make children's clothes? And I made them in sizes instead of ages because my kids could never really wear off the peg when they were 11. They were probably wearing a 13 or 14. But I suppose we're still in UK, everything, children's clothes are still by age. And so it was the inside leg that we needed to reduce. So we repurposed them and made two shorter lengths and a 6-inch ankle opening. And I think as we repurposed, we're probably still a bit too narrow. So again, we're just making some fresh, shorter sizes, the straighter leg, so you can get them over splints. Because one of the young guys that we were helping me trial them in the beginning, his mum says, we get dressed, we put splints on first, then put the trousers over them. So that's why we thought, so we need to make the calves a bit wider so they'll get over.
Yeah.
So hopefully these straighter ones that I've made will work just as well. So
yeah. That sounds great. Yeah, because I think that was something that I obviously came up against, whether it was a female or a male that I was working with, a girl or a boy, like obviously I would take their splints off as a therapist and then put them back on, so their trousers are already on, so having to roll their trousers all the way up and then try and stretch the trousers over the splints. Oh, the bane of my life. That was always the thing that I would dread, is like, I've got to get all these back on now, but I know, so parents... And again,
it's not something I'm aware of, because Emil's never had to wear splints. So I am aware of them, but Emil's never had to wear them. So again, it's what people are asking me for. And it's because they're quite easy to adapt the pattern. So it means that I can just add something in or take something off. And I think that we're building up a nice community on Instagram. It's, I'm quite approachable, just DM me and I can speak to them, they'll speak to me. And that's where I get a lot of the research from as well, really. So hopefully these new children's joggers will be out this week. Is what we're looking for. This would just work. If it's still looking a bit narrow, again, we can just make them bigger. And because we're making some small ones, there's not a lot of wastage.
Yeah. So what are all the sizes you currently do that people can get right now on your website? And then what are the sizes you're hoping to then bring out?
So the main sizes, again, we were doing like an extra small and a small, which could fit for the children because of the sizing, which would be like a 9, 10, 10 to 11. But obviously the inside legs are like a 32 inch, they're probably a bit too long. But we also found we didn't sell very much of the extra small size. So again, I'm not quite sure what that's about, but I think people are still used to buying bigger. You always go one size up. And you don't really need to, because they actually are made for sitting. So we might not make more extra small in the normal length because of the demand isn't there. However, I will be making a double XL because I think more people are asking for a bigger size. Because again, you're in a wheelchair, it's not easy to lose the weight. You get a bit of a wheelchair stomach, as they call it. So, and a lot of people have been asking for the bigger size. So we'll be small, medium, large, extra large, and double XL.
Wow, cool.
I don't know the waist sizes off the top of my head. If you were going to ask me that.
That's all right. So, how can people then follow you? Where can people find you? And obviously, like you said, people can message you. So say if somebody's bought one of your products or is thinking of buying, they can always message you. But where can they find you?
So people can, so I'm all over social media. I'm everywhere. That seems to be what everybody's doing. So I'm on Instagram, Bealies Adaptive Wear, on Instagram, Facebook. Just dipping my toe in TikTok. And I'm also doing LinkedIn with other businesses as well. People can DM me directly on Instagram. And my email is also on the website, which is Caron@bealiesadaptivewear.co.uk. And people can send me an email as well. My number's on there. You can send me a quick text, which people have done as well. So, and again, you can get me on any form. Baby crying there in the background. Sorry.
It's all right. Are you on Facebook as well?
Yes, we're on Facebook. I need to be building up my Facebook community a bit more. It seems to be Instagram has got a really good adaptive wheelchair sort of community on Instagram. So I'm also on Facebook as well. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Obviously I'm there as Caron McClucky on Facebook and also on Bealies. So I'm everywhere.
Yeah. Nice. So please reach out to Caron if you are wanting to buy one of their products and unsure, have any questions, or just have any questions about any new products coming along, or if they have something that maybe could help you, what they're looking for their child or young adult, what they're struggling to find clothes wise, get in contact with Caron, because I know she's super helpful, loves to hear feedback, and is really trying to make it so that everyone gets what they need, because that's really as you said, it's not that difficult to make a slit on the side of the ankle, to be able to have it opening for splints.
Outside the box all the time, basically.
Yeah, totally. Okay, thank you very much for coming on, and it was lovely to chat to you.
And you as well.
I'm excited for the hoodies and the matching sets, but I'm also excited for the jegging jeans kind of thing. I think that's going to go really well.
Yeah, there's a couple of people reached out to me on Facebook, so I'm going to make contact with this lady this week to ask her daughter to try them for me. I think she's struggling a bit because, again, she's become disabled and obviously struggling with her own self-esteem and stuff, but also with the clothes as well. So I'm going to get her to sort of try them out for me because she's a different size. But yeah, if it looks right and I can get the material, be going with it. Yeah. So
awesome.
And I mentioned about the crowdfunding because we were.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. So we crowdfunded to make the first one of the joggers, and the crowdfunding campaign is still open. So I'm just sort of kind of relaunching it now to help fund to make the sweatshirts and the hoodies. There's a few rewards on there, and then I'll be adding some more rewards on there. So we've got some limited Bealies t-shirts, and I'll also sort of offer out a few hoodies that people can get and personalise in their own colour or have their name on it or something. So yeah, so we're on crowdfunder. Every little helps, as Tesco says.
Definitely, yeah, and supporting you, that's really key. Buying the products on, being able to support you by, donating, but getting a product is really, really fantastic. So crowdfunding is amazing. So if you have any way of being able to support Caron and everything that she's doing, I know what she's doing is fantastic. I know that she doesn't work full time on Bealies, so she definitely needs the support. So go out there and get onto her crowdfunder, and yeah, we're excited for all the new products.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. Yeah, really exciting to get the photos out and see the whole tracksuit being worn together. Can't wait. I'm quite excited actually. So I'll keep ringing them. Are you nearly ready? Are they nearly ready? Yeah, so I need to ring after this.
Thank you very much for joining me, and you can find Caron on any of the links. I will put them in the show notes and in the comments below. So thank you very much, Caron.
Okay, thanks, Caron.
Thanks for tuning in to the Disable the Label podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a comment to let us know what you thought of this episode. More episodes will be coming soon, so make sure you tune in. Don't forget you can download our app for free via the App Store. That's Google Play or Apple App Store. Just search Disable the Label and you'll find us.